Doing some research about this place, I was kind of floored. Christians hard at work. So many kids apply to get into the school, and they're all Christians, but the kids who really get in here are the cream of the crop. And that's who you're supporting, those kids. And what the Spartan Foundation does to support that, to support a university that allows kids to believe in God and have faith in themselves, is truly amazing. And what you're really doing is you're creating a winning environment. And I'm not talking just about the 11 championships, which is really, when you think about it, since 1999, you guys have 11 championships. That's incredible. But it's because of what you guys are doing. But winning, it's not a destination. It's a journey, isn't it? The great Vince Lombardi once said that winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. And it's true. But it's not easy to do that. You're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be tempted. You're not going to win every game. But it's the winning attitude that gets you through these things. When I was a ball player at Syracuse, my coach used to tell me, Neal, never compete with anyone else. And it's something that I've taken so to heart with myself, that the only person that I compete with is just me. I wanted to be the best pitcher that I could be. I don't want to compare myself to another pitcher. And when I wasn't pitching the off days, I got to play first base and I got to hit, and I wanted to be the best ball player, but I wanted to be the best teammate possible, because I had a higher goal. And places like this embrace that. And that higher goal for me was, I wanted to be the best Neal McDonough possible, because there's only one person at the end of the day that I really, truly want to impress. And that's God. You're all the same. You wouldn't be in this room right now if you didn't feel that exact same way. And it's that uniqueness that we have, the God-given talents that everyone in this room has. To embrace those God-given talents is God's destiny. That's what we're supposed to do. And to not do it is, well, it's kind of a waste. That's your daily Christmas gift. You. It's good to be you. So how can you take that you, that singular you, and make it really shine? Well, for me, there were two things. First, talent, right? You have to have talent. A lot of athletes in here, a lot of businessmen in here, a lot of politicians in here. You're good at something, right? I played ball with a lot of guys who were really talented who didn't make it to the top, or a lot of actors who were really, really talented that I cut my teeth with, but they didn't make it to the top. They may have practiced so hard, they may have had all the talent, but what they didn't have was the confidence. Now, you know a lot of guys and girls who have a lot of confidence who may not have a lot of talent, and I call that the fake it till you make it plan. And that works for a while. You can get to a certain level with just sheer confidence. But when you have a marriage of confidence and talent together, you're unstoppable. That is God's design. And that's what you guys embrace here. That's what's so amazing about the Spartan Foundation and what you guys are doing for these kids. It's God first, me second. And in my family, Reve and I, we instill in our 5 children the same thing. Family first, me second. That's not easy. That's hard. And every time I do a decision, I say, oh, no, that's all right. I need to film. I'm going to do this for me. It fails. And when you fail as a dad, when you fail as a businessman, you're making the whole team fail. That's awful. Ding, ding. So for me, when it comes to family first, if I have a movie, somebody offers me a movie and say, okay, this movie's going to shoot in Europe for 3 months. Is that the best thing for my family? A TV show that might shoot someplace else. Is that the best thing for my family? Luckily, I live in Vancouver now. And 7 out of 10 productions, I was telling Michelle earlier, out of Los Angeles are shot in Canada. And 4 of those are shot in Vancouver. And luckily, I'm in Arrow and Flash and Legends. I'm starting a new show for A&E. I'm doing all these movies all here in Canada because I made a rule to myself, family first, me second. I haven't worked so much in my life as I have in the last few years that I've been up here because I stick to that mantra. It works. There are other things that we can do that are selfish that takes away from that family plan. Simple things. Taking you away from your game. At nighttime, you'll sit in your bed. I do it. We've all done it. We'll sit on our cell phones for an hour. We'll wake up the next morning groggy and cranky. You got to face the kids in the morning, or you got to go to work in the morning. You're letting somebody down because you didn't get that great sleep. Diet. My dad, 91 years old, still walks 3 miles a day, eats no sugar, does 200 crunches in his Barker lounger watching the Red Sox games. I wish I had that discipline. For me, my crutch that I had was alcohol. I loved drinking alcohol. It was fun. It was great. Who doesn't love drinking alcohol? But to me, the alcohol was starting to make me off my game. I didn't drink that much, but I drank enough to make me not Neal McDonough, not the best Neal McDonough that I could be. So a year and a half ago, I cut it out. 10 pounds later, but 100 pounds lighter in my soul, because now I'm being the best Neal McDonough that I can be. And instead of leaning on that crutch, I had to face, why was I doing these things to take me off my game? And when you have to look in the mirror and answer those questions and finally get through it and realize, I'm pretty awesome. I forgot how awesome I am. It's an amazing feeling because it is family first, me second. One of the greatest gifts I ever had was what you just saw was Band of Brothers. Has anyone seen Band of Brothers in this room? Okay. Band of Brothers, thank you. World War II show, and I had, well, the greatest thing doing Band of Brothers, the very first night I got into town, an Irish boy from Boston on St. Paddy's Day, I met my wife-to-be. That was awesome. And if you met Reve, you'd be like, how did you get her? 5 kids later, 100 movies ever since we met. It's been incredible. But by playing Buck Compton and getting to know these veterans of World War II, what they all had in common was they didn't whine. They didn't complain. In fact, we were at Buck's house for a People magazine spread, and the reporter said, Buck, where do you keep your silver heart? Where do you keep your Purple Heart and your Silver Star? And Tracy, his daughter, just kind of looked at Dad and said, where's your Purple Heart and your Silver Star? Where's that? He went, oh. He walked upstairs to his attic, and he pulled down this little box, blew the dust off of it, and showed his daughter, for the first time, his Purple Heart and his Silver Star from World War II. He was doing his job, and that's what he said. She said, why didn't you show it to me? Look, I was doing my job. That's what you did. You just did your job. I didn't do it for accolades. So many things we do nowadays is for accolades, to be cool in front of people, to have people say, hey, great job, and to feel good about yourself. That generation didn't care so much about that. He was doing his job. Which brings me to, speaking about doing your job, I know there's a lot of Seahawk fans in here, so I'm sorry about this one. The greatest coach in the history of coaches, I firmly believe, Bill Belichick. I knew I'd get a few hisses with that one. So, halftime, Super Bowl, down by 21 points. Any coach would go into that locker room and berate his guys to get them cooking. Bill Belichick walked into the locker room and said, congratulations, gentlemen. You're all about to be champions. If you go out there right now and do your jobs. He turned and he left the room. This isn't a Pop Warner game. This isn't a Sunday pickup game. This is the Super Bowl. And they won. So what did I do? My kids were in the championship game for Steve Nash a couple months later. And we weren't down by 1 point the whole season in any game. It was incredible. Championship game, halftime, we're down by 12 points. And I can see the kids are getting so crazy about it, and I could feel myself, the tension of it, and I could see the other coach so happy that he was going to beat our team. And I remember Bill Belichick. And I turned to all the kids and said, guys, you're about to be champions. Congratulations. Now get out there and do your jobs. And we came back and we won. It was awesome. It was unbelievable. Thank you, Bill Belichick. Because we did our jobs. We all have jobs to do. Kids' jobs. I tell my kids, your job is to go to school and do well at school. Every time I drop them off at school, I say, go out there and be the best today. My dog has a job. When I come home, he jumps on top of me, licks my face. I give him a treat. We have love with each other. That's his job. Your job, to be the best dad, to be the best husband, be the best wife, be the best daughter, be the best son, be the best anything that you can be. Be the best politician, be the best businessman. Because that's your job. The other day, Reve and I were at Starbucks, and I get uber cranky. Since I don't drink anymore, I love my coffee. I went to Starbucks, place was packed. And I'm waiting for my coffee. 5 minutes goes by, I'm going crazy. 6 minutes goes by, I'm getting really antsy. And I see the guy who's making the coffee, and he's doing this. Having the best time making coffees. So I walk up to this guy, and I say, hey, how you doing? He goes, great. How many coffees are you making a day? And he goes, oh, I don't know, like 750, 1,000. That's pride in his job. He's doing his job. Here's the hard part. Doing your job, being really successful at whatever you do, also brings a lot of jealousy from other people. Mean-spirited jealousy. So the higher you move up, the more people are out there ready to take you down. That's just how life is. I'm sure when Jesus was carrying his cross that day, that place was packed. Packed with people laughing at him, jeering, spitting, swearing. But what did he do on that day? He did his job. He carried that cross for every single person in this room and every single person on the planet. He was doing his job. There's going to be a lot of people in your lives who are going to want you to lower your game. Start slacking off a little bit. Come on, just be regular. When I was in high school, the older kids in the team, the varsity kids in the team, after practice we had to run laps. And I was not going to be one of those guys who was slacking off. And I ran so hard, and all the older kids said, Neal, slow down, you're making us look bad. Don't let other people take your shine. There's a great scripture reading that Reve sent me from Sirach, chapter 2. And this kind of nails everything. My child, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for trials. Be sincere of heart and steadfast, and do not be impetuous in times of adversity. Cling to him. Do not leave him, that you may prosper in your last days. Accept whatever happens to you. In periods of humiliation, be patient. But here's the kicker. For in fire, gold is tested. We all get tested. It's part of life being tested. I was tested once, and it was a tough one. It was a TV show that I was in a few years ago, and they wanted me on, it was the third episode of the season, and they said, we need you to do a sex scene. Okay. Everyone knows that I don't do sex scenes, and I don't use the Lord's name in vain on screen. They said, well, we need you to do a sex scene for the ratings. I'm like, well, the show isn't on the air yet. What do you mean ratings? This who knows what the show is going to be? He goes, well, we just need you to do a sex scene. I'm like, well, you know I'm not going to do a sex scene. He goes, well, we'll have to fire you unless you do the sex scene. And I said, okay, fire me, because I'm not going to do it. For 2 years, I couldn't get a job. Hollywood thought that I was this religious zealot, this crazy guy that just wouldn't kiss another woman on screen. I kept telling everybody, it wasn't because of that. It's because I love my wife so darn much. I lost everything. I lost my house, my big, beautiful house in Los Angeles. I lost my Mercedes. I lost my cars. I lost all that stuff. And it hurt. Boy, did it hurt. And one day, I said to God, why have you done this to me? And I got down on my knees and just... And I felt shame running through my veins that those words could come out of my mouth. All that I was given in my life, my beautiful family, the career that I've had, my wife, my children, and as soon as it came out of my mouth, I realized, what a schmuck you are. And not soon, right after I did that, I got a phone call from a guy named Graham Yost, who wrote Band of Brothers, who wrote Boomtown, another show that I did. It says, hey, got an idea for you. I want you to be the bad guy in a TV show called Justified for an episode or two. Just, I know you're having a little difficult time. I'm like, great. For not working for 2 years and making zero money and losing everything, you bet I was hungry. I fell in love with acting again. I was so appreciative of everything because maybe I wasn't appreciating all the success that I was having. And that's a sin in itself right there. And by doing Justified, I won all kinds of awards. I have not stopped working ever since. And it's been amazing because I was challenged. I had to carry that cross. Would I do it again? You're darn right I would. Because that's who I am. Family first, me second. That's what life is supposed to be about. When you do your job, when you carry that cross, when you have purpose and passion, people will follow you. And that's why we're here. Not one of you in this room is dull. You're here because you follow those rules too. Each and every single one of you is a brick of gold. And you're here today to support this, to support these athletes, and to support this amazing university. I am blown away by what you guys do here. I'm from Boston. I'm not even Canadian. And I want all 5 of my kids not to go to Syracuse. I want them to go to school here because you embrace Christianity. You embrace faith, and you allow these kids to be in that environment, and you create winners. So, last thing I'm going to say, and if anybody has a couple questions, I'm all for it. I got a text from a director friend of mine the other day. It said, hey, bro, I thought of you when I read this. Mark Linton wrote, a real man is the kind of man that when your feet hit the floor each morning, the devil says, oh, crap, he's up. Be the winner, do your job, carry that cross with pride, and God bless every single one of you here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neal. Great to hear your heart. Great to hear the application of your convictions. Great to hear how God has honored you for making some great stands and how he's led you through some pretty amazing leadership experiences as an athlete, as an actor, as a husband, as a father. We've got a few minutes to do some question and answers, so maybe you have a question from the floor for Neal. It could be a question about his career. It could be a question about some of the principles that he's lived by throughout his career as an athlete, as an actor, as a person in our community. So let's do that. Natalie's going to walk the floor. If you have a question, just feel free to raise your hand and she'll give you the mic.
Don't be shy. Awesome.
How'd you get to go from a pitcher at Syracuse to an actor? What was your path to that career?
Boy. It was, my major at Syracuse was also theater. And when I graduated from college, I had the choice. I was signed by the Pirates, and at the same time was offered Lou Gehrig in the Babe Ruth story. So I called my dad, who's Irish, right off the boat. I said, Dad, I got a dilemma. First big dilemma in my life. Oh, what is it, Neal? I'm like, well, I got to make a choice. Right. What's the choice? I'm like, well, I was offered a contract by the Pirates. Oh, wonderful. You love your baseball. Congratulations. What's the other one? Oh, I got offered to play Lou Gehrig in the Babe Ruth story for NBC. And he goes, oh, wonderful. That's fantastic. Which one are you taking? I'm like, well, that's my dilemma. He goes, all right. What are they paying you for baseball? And I said, well, about $17,500 for the year. And what are they paying you for the movie? $50,000. He hung up on me. I didn't have to call him back because I figured out what his answer was. And it was the right it was the right call. I was a really good pitcher. I was a knuckleball pitcher. I loved the creativity of being a knuckleball pitcher, and it was great. And who knows where that would have went, but you can't look that way. You can't look back and say, what if? I look back at my career of like I was saying, of 100 movies and countless hours of television and everything else, and the blessings that I've had in my life. I'm pretty sure my dad made the right choice by hanging the phone up on me that day.
Awesome. Any more questions from the floor?
Is it hard to have a social life when you're an actor like you are?
That's easy. I mean, when you're in Hollywood, it's. I was saying to Michelle again earlier today, when I got here, I coach all my kids' teams, and I love doing it. The first practice that I went to was a soccer practice, and in Los Angeles, all the nannies drop their kids off at soccer practices. Parents don't show up for the practices. Parents barely show up for the games. At the practices, the parents are there, and they're the whole time they're there. We're like, wow, this is a whole different feeling here. Because in Los Angeles, everything's about being social. Everything's about going out at night and wining and dining and all that stuff. And you get caught up in this crazy world, which I'm sure you're reading all about it now in all the papers. It's crazy. I'm so blessed to have moved to Canada and to Tawasin and to meet guys like Dale Sipe and the people that I've gotten to be with. And, socially, it's easy in Los Angeles, but here, it's not about going out. It's about investing in your children and investing in a community and investing in family. That's why I love living in Tawasin. That's why I love being here. And, again, I keep coming back to, and I've been telling so many people, have you heard about Trinity Western? Do you know what Trinity Western does? Do you know how they support their kids with Christian values and everything else? It's phenomenal what you guys are doing, and not just at this university, what you guys are doing in Canada in particular. It's awesome. And, by July, I'll be a citizen here. Well, not a citizen, a resident here. I'm trying the citizen. That takes a while. I'm not sure if to let the actors in or the Irish. But I'm blessed and so proud to be living in Canada, and I can't thank you all enough for accepting and being so kind and gracious to myself and my family. So thank you very, very much.
Mark?
Obviously, your faith is very important to you. Is this something that happened at an early age, or was it something that happened at an older age? Like, who are you?
I'm still trying to figure that one out myself. Ever since I was a young kid, I always had this great relationship with God. It's hard to explain. My 5 older siblings all went to Catholic school in Boston, and I was the only one. I was a mistake. My mother always called me the greatest mistake she ever made. But I didn't go to Catholic school, and the Catholic schools at that time were kind of ruthless. And all my brothers and my sister, they don't practice religion at all. They hardly believe in God at all, and it's so hard for me to watch that. And for me to have this faith that I had always since a kid, and it just kept building and building and building. And anytime I got in trouble in life, I thought, okay, what would God think right now? And the answer was always there. It's not easy to have faith and be in any business, in Hollywood in particular, because everyone wants to bend any rule to get ahead. And I just don't want to do that. I've never done that. And my kids see that. And my kids, now they're getting older, they're realizing, oh, wow, interesting. That's what my dad stands for. And I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to drink anymore. I wanted to be on my game so my kids can always say, that's my dad. I'm so proud of that guy. I want to be like him. So that's my calling. I love acting. It's fantastic. I love coaching. But for me, my whole life is my 5 kids and my wife. And I want them to look up to me as that's the great guy that has really shaped my mind. And they see that my relationship with God is so strong that it gets into them, and they love it too. And it's I'm blessed. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I'm blessed beyond belief.
Neal, thanks for your answer.
Thank you.
Thanks for your answer, Mark. Thanks for a great question. We have time for a couple more questions. So if people on the floor, I know over here.
How do you keep yourself accountable in your industry? Do you have other acting friends? You guys hold your Christian faith as well, that you guys are able to keep each other accountable?
No.
Could you guys hear the question? So the question was, how does Neal and a person in his vocation keep accountable? Is there a group of people that would hold them accountable, that type of thing?
I've always no. It's hard to. Yes, I have friends who are in the industry who are faith-based also, no question about it. And I'm trying. I produced a film a couple of years ago called Greater. It's this beautiful faith-based football film that I produced and starred in. And the people that I met doing that are the people that I really love to gravitate towards. So everything that I do in my life, I'm always trying to get closer to people who have that kind of faith. And it's not easy in Hollywood, but they're there. And to make films that my kids can watch, that's a goal for me now. So to surround myself with people like that, it may be harder to find, but it's what I'm doing, and it's what I'm going to do for the future. And the production company that we've started, we're doing faith-based projects. And that's what I love to do. And if I can make my mark as an actor in Hollywood, it certainly would be nice to have films that people can talk about, or TV shows that people can talk about years down the road and say, hey, that was great. I love that. And he had that great faith-based thing to it. And without being overtly Christian, which I don't want to turn people away either, I want to be able to preach to people that want to listen to it. And to gravitate and be around those people, that's my goal. So I'm going to find them, and we're going to keep working together.
Thank you. Let's go one more question. Mr. Jansen in the back. Can you yell it and I'll relay it?
It's interesting you say that, because my character in Band of Brothers, I knew I was going to have this mental breakdown. And it was about 7 months into the filming. And I started dating my wife, Reve, the first day I got into town. So after about 2 or 3 months of me being this, and I was this method actor, I don't know what anybody that, but you take everything is so internal and painful, and you struggle with everything in life. And that's what a method actor does. And after about 2 or 3 months of dating, she's like, listen, I love that you're an actor and this is great, but you have to check your work at work. You can't bring that stuff home every day, or else this isn't going to work. And I stormed out of that room. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm Brando. I'm a method actor. This is the way you were supposed to emote. This is the way you're supposed to act. And after 2 or 3 days of her not calling me back, I started to think, And then I realized I just received, and I went to Syracuse, I went to Lambda, the London Academy, I went to all the greatest schools, the greatest teachers on the planet to teach me how to act. And in one day, I got the greatest acting lesson ever. Leave your work at work. Because as an actor, you're supposed to draw from your real life also, and you're also supposed to enjoy your life, not just about your work. So at that time in my life, I was all about acting, and I wasn't about living my life, which is probably why I was a 34-year-old single guy. Right? So by listening to Reve, she helped me realize that there's so much more in life than just being an actor. There's being a great person and enjoying the gifts that God has created for us. So now I check my work at work.
Well, thank you, Neal. There was one last question that came from the floor. I don't know who asked it, but it's interesting. It says, with that Irish accent, is it true that you will be starring in the remake of the film Mrs. Doubtfire?
It's funny. I use the Doubtfire voice with my kids. Euphigenia Doubtfire, dear. I would love to. It would be great. To go from Buck Compton to Euphigenia Doubtfire, dear. Well, that would be the goal of my life. That would be awesome. But again, thank you for letting me come up here and speak to everyone here today. I hope I've done a service to everyone here, and I can't tell you how flattered I am to be able to speak at a university like this and to be in front of the people that you are and how much you give to this community. So thank you all, and God bless everyone in this room. Thank you, thank you.